One of my strengths is I think I know how to love people well. I know how to build really good relationships. And honestly, I think it comes from my parents. I come from a heritage of a man and a woman who both in their own unique ways built really successful businesses because of their ability to build great relationships with people. I watched that through customer service, how my parents met the needs of people in their own very unique ways to be very successful in the business world. But it put something in me even as a child about taking care of other people, about how to quickly form a bond to make people feel safe and trusted in a way to provide for the need that they had. Not selling stuff or selling the most stuff, but just connecting with them to help meet a need, whether it was a pet or a pet grooming or whatever it was in my life. This ability of really great customer service. My weaknesses are me. Like, I am my worst critic. Self-confidence is really, really hard for me. Turning on this camera, putting out this content, it drives me insane sometimes. It is a real weakness. There's this idea of understanding both your strengths and your weaknesses. And how do I use both of those to set myself up to not only walk in my purpose, but to experience the very best life possible? That's the true measure of success, right? It can be money, it can be stuff and things and all of these labels that we have for success, but ultimately, success is truly measured about living the best life I possibly could live. In Romans chapter 8 and verse 26, he says, "Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. For we do not know what to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words." That God says, hey, I understand about your weaknesses. You're all created uniquely. You all are created with human flesh. There are going to be weaknesses. There are going to be areas that have gaps. But I tell you what, I'm going to fill those gaps. I'm going to strengthen you in your weakness, both your weakness whenever you're going through a moment or a situation or issue that has just drained you, and the weaknesses, which are gaps, which are areas in your life that are not your strong suits, things that you don't do really, really well. This idea of in leadership and being leadership, which sometimes can be a scary word, but we're all leading in some form or fashion in our lives. Someone is always watching. When we are being really great leaders, it's this ability to look at our own strengths, understand what we do really well, understand what makes us do that really well. Why is that a strength in my life? What keeps that a strength in my life? And how do I create more ways for that strength to really shine in my life? And then what are these areas of weakness? Not to pour all of my energy and effort to take maybe what is a 2 in my life, and if I work really, really hard and I put a lot of money and energy and effort into it, maybe I make it a 5. No, instead, what are the weak areas in my life, and how do I surround myself with people? How do I put people in my life to not only watch for those weak areas, not only keep an eye for the blind spots and the gaps, but also to supplement them, to fill in those gaps, to be the things that I am not really, really good at. Really great teams are not teams made up of just superstars. We've seen teams made up of superstars actually not play really well at all, but are teams that identify what they do really, really well and then fill in the gaps, supplement themselves with all of the things that they don't do really well with people who do those things really, really well. And together as a team, as a community, as a church, as a business, whatever it is that you're looking to build together, you now become full. And Jesus is saying, even if you don't have that, if you don't have people around you that can fill in those gaps for you, I'll be that for you. You pray, and my Spirit will fill in your gaps. It is important that we identify both our strengths and our weaknesses, but it's more important that we grow those strengths, that we put a lot of energy and effort into those strengths. Yes, we pour some into the weaknesses. Yes, we try to better ourselves with intentionality and doing better, but we supplement that with the people in our lives. And we pour a lot of energy and effort into our strengths so that we can do what we do really, really well as many times as possible. And when we do that together in connection with Jesus Christ, when we do that in partnership of our relationship with him, he supplements it every single time. He increases it, and he makes his strength our strength. And he makes our weaknesses his strength when he fills in those gaps through a relationship with him. You've got it. You have what it takes. You are good at things. Now create more opportunities to be better at those things more often than not. I pray that this has been a blessing. If you like the content, do me a favor, hit that like button. That like button triggers the algorithms in YouTube and promotes this content to be a blessing to other people. And leave us your story. Let us know, what are your strengths? What are the things that you're really good at? What are the things that you do really, really well? And what are the ways that you can pour more into those strengths to create more opportunities to be your fullest self? I pray this has been a blessing. Until we're with you next time, God bless.